Hello everyone, and welcome to the Great Gundam Project, episode 339. I'm Jackson, I'm joined by M as usual.
It's Gundam time!
It's Gundam time, and for the first time in a long time, this is a free episode of GGP.
Damn, it's been like more than 6 months.
More than 6 months.
Yeah.
It was the beginning of 00, the last one, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a long fucking time.
They were at the start of every season, but then all the seasons became OVAs and stuff, and it was like, it's too inside baseball. We considered doing it for the Unicorn episode, but again, we were just discussing too much GGP. It would not have been a good introduction for anyone. Not that I know whether this will be, but at least we intend to be slightly more professional.
We probably won't spoil Turn A, in this episode, I'm pretty sure.
You know what? No. That's the one time that we won't mention the end of Turn A is this episode. It comes up a lot because it's a really good show.
Yeah.
But not really relevant here, as we are covering what is the exact name? SD Gundam Sangokuden Brave Battle Warriors.
Yes.
So, yeah. That's this season. We're doing that, and we're watching some Dragon Ball movies alongside it. That's the premise. It's going to be about 15, 18 weeks, and I'm very excited. If it's your first time listening, I guess welcome to this podcast that we do. We're watching Gundam. We've been watching it for so long.
We've been watching Gundam. We will celebrate our 7th anniversary during this season, because I think it's next month.
Yeah, it's definitely in the middle of August when we started. I know that much.
It's in July. I'm pretty sure it's in July.
Oh, in July? Okay.
Yes. So yeah, we've been watching Gundam in order. We're here. This is where we're at. We're in the 2010s watching SD Gundam Brave Battle Warriors.
Mostly
the second full-length SD Gundam show.
That's true.
The first Three Kingdoms adaptation. To which you go, there are more than one? Yeah, there's more than one.
I assume they were sequels. I know they
there's the other one that's an entirely different adaptation that then gets the sequel, the World whatever Warriors.
Wait, that's not all one continuous line? I'm learning this for the first time right now.
No, the next one is an entirely, like, all the Gundams are different Gundams. It's a different thing, and then the season 2 brings in the legends from all across the world. So it's like Liu Bei up against the Monkey King from Journey to the West versus, like, there's like some American hero. I don't even know who the fucking American hero would be, but it's like all legends from across the world. Crockett. And there's zombies in that one, I think.
So I knew about that. I knew that's where we're going, but I assume this was all one continuous evolution of a single thing.
This show is self-contained.
But they do Three Kingdoms again, and then they wrote, what's going on at Sunrise? Never mind, it doesn't matter.
Because I had the exact problem yesterday where I was like, when they say Cao Cao is a DX Gundam, what do they mean by that? And every time you look up Cao Cao Three Kingdoms, you get the one that is in the next version of this show where he's a Gundam Wing. And I'm like, I don't need the Gundam Wing Cao Cao.
I can't believe that there are multiple Gundam variants for Three Kingdoms characters because of how they've done this. I like that he's a XX Gundam. That's cool to me.
Yeah, I was very confused as to why it just says DX, and I was like, is that the XX? Because it doesn't really look like a XX at all. And most of them are UC, like there's a couple exceptions, but yes, he's meant to be a XX. We'll get to it when we talk about it.
Yes. But yeah, that's a sneak preview of the discussion for this episode. But beforehand, we do have some formalities that we always do on the podcast before we start.
Well, yeah, I mean, the main thing is we're going to talk about Romance of the Three Kingdoms because it's an adaptation of Romance of the Three Kingdoms. We read Romance of the Three Kingdoms several years ago at this point, so we remember just enough to kind of talk about it at large, but not enough to be really annoying about it, hopefully. That's the goal.
Yes. I don't remember all the individual guys and everything they did, but I remember the broad shape of it, and I had a great time.
When Zhao Dun shows up with both eyes, I'm like, well, I know what happens to that motherfucker.
Yes. But we're not going to like go out of our way, but we will just generally talk about Romance of the Three Kingdoms structure stuff as we go, because I think that's part of the fun. It doesn't behoove anyone to keep that hidden.
No, if you are interested in listening to us go read Romance of the Three Kingdoms, we have a podcast that we did with our friends, Jen and Six, several years ago, where we did that. You can find it on Scanline Media. It's called Romance of the Two Networks. I think if you just put that into your podcatcher, it'll pull up the podcast. It was a long time ago, but we did cover the whole thing. We read the whole goddamn thing.
We did. I had a great time.
Yeah.
Good book.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. I guess we can do the normal stuff then.
Yeah. It is episode 339. What is the Pokemon? That's the other bit we do.
What was the Pokemon last week? Do you remember?
Well, it was Soul Rock, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, got it. Did you even have to look at the picture? Or did
No,
you
I
just
was
know?
like, I knew Lunatone and Soul Rock, but I don't remember if they were the exact last ones or not.
Man, you're succeeding all over. Well, let's
Let's
break that
let's
straight.
break that straight because there's a new Pokemon. So
If I told you it was a water ground, would you need a picture still?
Mudkip.
No, I think we've already done Mudkip.
Yeah, can I have a picture, please?
There you go.
Oh, the little like trillfish type Pokemon. I've forgotten the name of the actual fish. I'm like, it's a recognizable thing. But no, I have no idea what this is.
Wow.
It's a big, long, like eelfish with a Wario moustache on it.
Yes, that's correct.
I've no earthly idea what this is.
Okay. This is a barboach.
Yeah, no, never heard it before in
Yeah,
my
you're
life.
gonna get this one. A barboach may be a combination of barb and loach, which is the fish it's based on.
Thank you. I was like, I recognize the fish, but I realized I didn't have the words in this podcast to describe because I don't know anything about fish other than that's the kind of fish I recognize.
Yeah. That's all I got. There's nothing important about this guy. He's just a little groundwater type. Look at him. He looks goofy.
He does look goofy. The Wario moustache is distracting me a lot.
Yeah, fair enough.
That is just a Wario moustache. That's exactly what that is.
Okay.
Well,
We'll reconvene next week and you'll be confused again, so it'll be fine.
yeah, fair enough. And then they can't all be eventful Pokemon weeks.
Unfortunately, no.
Sometimes there's just a guy and you're like, I don't know who that is. Yeah. So, other segment. I don't think we have anything for this one. Have you watched any anime this week?
I have not. I've been very busy.
Yeah, we do an anime check-in. I haven't. Well, I guess I watched like a bunch of the Legend of the Galactic Heroes OVA, which I talked about on another podcast. You can listen to that in a couple of days. With Red from Ultra Q came by to talk about Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I read those books, etc., etc. If you want my extended thoughts on that, it's a very casual discussion. We're just shooting the shit about these books and this OVA. I had a good time, but it's not like an in-depth, rigorous analysis. It's much more of a casual discussion compared to what we usually do because of how we don't normally cover 10 books in an hour, right? So
Yeah.
do not expect a like deep breakdown. It's just me complaining a lot and then going, but I like it. I'm complaining about the friction points, but I did have a good time. Is a lot of what I'm saying. That I do enjoy it. It's just also very silly.
Doubt. I'm pressing X for doubt.
I enjoy it. You wouldn't. You would just be doing the complaining without the enjoying. But I have to. The enjoying doesn't really come through when I'm talking about all the friction points in the show. But that's kind of what the podcast is, and I had a good time. So please look forward to that on Thursday. Other than that, though, have not been getting into other anime, so we can just get on with the main show.
Yeah.
SD Gundam Sangokuden Brave Battle Warriors is a 2010 anime series of 51, I believe.
Yes.
Wikipedia is a bad page that's confused me in multiple ways today. 51 11-minute episodes, and also was preceded by a 12-minute short movie that I assume aired in some compilation-y thing. I don't know the exact situation.
Yes, it aired after the 5th Sergeant Frog film.
There you go.
Yeah.
What we should cover? Sergeant Frog? No, we shouldn't. Because we have nothing to say about Sergeant Frog.
There's a lot of Sergeant
There's
Frog.
a lot of Sergeant Frog. But I was like, it's not the Toei things, but I bet Sunrise did something like that, and you can watch SD Gundam Brave Battle Warriors in that.
Sergeant Frog, more Gundam references by volume than Brave Battle Warriors will have, I'm pretty sure.
Almost certainly. Yeah. And for this episode, we have watched the first 3 episodes of the anime and also the movie, which came first.
Yeah, movie first. Yeah.
They are... the movie is written by Miyuki Kishimoto, directed by Kenichi Suzuki and Kunihiro Mori. The show has the same directors, but is apparently written by someone else, Tatsuhiko Urahara. None of these are people I have heard of or have blue names.
Okay, well, there you go.
So,
there's been some question, people, there always is, about how one might watch Brave Battle Warriors, and the answer is you're going to have to fucking download it from a pirate website, because it's never been released.
yes, it does not have an official release. You will simply have to find it somehow.
Yeah. but it's easily available if you know where to find where such goods are found. And that means we're dealing with fan subs, which means in the movie, Cho, Denbeiban, SD's Gundam Sangokuden Bright Battle Warriors, they have maybe the most ridiculous choice that's ever been made, which is to give everyone really bad old-timey speech, lots of these and thous, but like made by someone who clearly has never actually engaged with any work where people are legitimately speaking old-timey.
They're just kind of doing Dragon Quest localization ticks, but more and worse.
Way worse. So much worse.
Yeah.
But this is like supposedly it takes place after episode 4, so we'll get there in the timeline next week. But is really just a little like, here's all the characters, we're introducing them. We have our 3 leads. We have Liu Bei and Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, the 3 brothers who will swear an oath in the future, in the past of this, but in the future of us. We'll talk about it. They're running around fighting guys. They're considered the Yozo rebels. Yeah. And Liu Bei has the Dragon Emperor sword, which is a magical sword, a thing not appearing in Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which he uses to win every episode. he hits the big fucking dragon slash and wins whatever conflict is being introduced, because these are 11 to 15 minute long episodes.
I would simply use the Heaven Sword.
Yeah. What if the Dragon Seal, Mandate of Heaven, was just a sword that you can swing at guys?
Also, what if Liu Bei had it, which I don't think he ever does once.
No.
In Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
I would say Liu Bei's never had the Mandate of Heaven, honestly, but this Liu Bei has got it. It's a weapon. It wins every episode, so.
Yes. So the movie, the first interesting thing about it is that it's all done in this, like, strange style where it's just a regular anime, but they've got the robots are in 3D models, but they will keep, like, switching between 3D models and 2D animation depending on like what the needs of the action scene currently are, and it works like shockingly well. I was
actually really surprised.
Really hard to pull off.
Yeah,
because it's not one or the other. Like sometimes it'll be like this robot's deformed, so we're gonna have to do all of it in 2D animation because we don't want to make a new rig a whole new model for this like battle damage version. And I was just like really impressed with the animation and how well it would flick between these two modes.
Yeah.
Because
it's nice.
It's doing a lot of like battle pose stuff similar to what they did in SD Gundam Force. In terms of the way the like main attacks work, and everyone's got the Chinese characters behind them and they yell their moves.
I'm pretty sure this is not like mocapped in the same way SD Gundam Force was.
No, I don't think so either. But it does have the same like, and then the background, the anime background goes back, and then we do the big like poses for the attack. And we'll probably use that a few times over the season.
Yeah.
As people yell out their attack names and stuff. Which is all good fun. I'm here for that.
Yeah. But yeah, the plot of this is really straightforward. Like, we meet 3 brothers. They're all rebels. Dongzhou sends Huzen to pick up the sword, and then Lu Bu follows behind. There's a whole bit where he gets attacked and drops the sword into a waterfall. He wakes up having been rescued by Ma Chao, who will go on to be a character of note, at least in Three Kingdoms, I assume, in the show, who's a little Blue Destiny Unit 1, cute design. They have to go fight Huzen, and Ma Chao goes at the sword, and he hits the Dragon Slash and wins. That's it. Lu Bu watches on from atop red hair and looks ominous.
He has to dive back into the water to get his sword back, and has the vision of the dragon.
Oh, you mean he gets the Final Fantasy 14 crystal cutscene?
Yeah, there's like Heidland's like, hello, you will follow my will. I'm totally not evil, but it's
it's the dragon. The dragon's not evil.
The dragon's not evil. Liu Bei is not evil. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. In this show, definitely Liu Bei is not evil. How you might feel about historical figure Liu Bei. Probably outside the scope of talking about this one.
It's really funny how, across these whole, this isn't really just the movie, this is across the whole opening here, is that it's like shockingly just direct about adapting Three Kingdoms, which makes the changes it makes even funnier.
Yeah.
Because throughout these, Liu Bei is constantly yelling in anime fashion about fighting for the future, as we have talked about many times. As you get an anime protagonist, and they say, "No, you can't do that because I believe in the future." But if there's one
that he is running around looking for the sense of justice that can help unite the land.
Yes.
Which is not the same thing as fighting for the future.
Well, I was going to say, because the one thing Liu Bei in history, or not in history, in the work, the Romance of the Kingdoms, is fighting for, is not the future. He is the most Restore the Han guy that is there. He's the, kind of weird ancestral descendants that's technically part of the royal family but has been forgotten about and is the one who's going to bring it all back, but obviously can't do that. That's not what happens. He doesn't succeed in this goal. He's trying to turn the clock back. That's kind of his primary motivation through Three Kingdoms, and all of that is just excised. Like all the ideas about there's no, obviously, they're not going to get into the eunuchs in this, but you don't know why the Yellow Turbans are doing anything. And I guess it's the show that we should probably get into the main episodes.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about this short. I was like, okay, this is like fun, what it is.
But it wasn't.
Yeah. I ended up liking the show much more when we got into it because it's just an adaptation of Three Kingdoms, which I like. So
yeah, pretty much. That's kind of where I am as well.
Yeah. So these have titles. These episodes, they do have titles, don't they?
They do have titles.
1, 2, and 3.
We have episode 1 is called Birth of a Hero, episode 2 is called Encounter, and episode 3 is called For the People. I know we normally break them down in how we do our podcast, but I imagine for this show we'll do a little more freeform discussion. Because I
have a surprising amount of notes, honestly, because I was like, they're not going to have good notes for this.
The Wikipedia has shockingly good notes.
Well, yeah, but I can't read them because they're all in the Japanese
they all
names.
got the wrong names.
Yeah. So back in the before times, prehistory, the 3 mystical sovereigns landed in Mauritia, and they were the sun and the moon and the sea. And a time of strife is going to arrive in Mauritia where it's shrouded in darkness, and the souls of the sovereigns shall be entrusted to Gundams with the power of the Holy Seal. These are the G records. This is the time of Three Kingdoms.
Let's go!
So, Yeoju is the land we're in, and it's under siege by the Yellow Turbans. Why are they rebelling? Why are they the Yellow Turbans? Who can say?
No, it does not come up in the show.
There are a bunch of Zaku's running around, and they're attacking some people for their, goods. And who's napping in a tree but Liu Bei, our hero, who is a Gundam. I did not note down everyone's mobile suits here. And he leaps down and attacks the rebels. He is hanging out with his, best buddy, Gong Chun-zan, who is an easy 8, and he chides him for... There's a whole bit where he walks by after the battle's over and he's Liu Bei's knocked down a shed and he's like, did this shed do you evil? Love it. I love this guy.
That bit's so good.
Gosh. So we find out that there's the heroes across the land are fighting the Yellow Turbans. We see a clip of Cao Cao fighting in the north. He's a Gundam DX, the double X from Gundam X. In the south, the Sun Clan, led by Sun Quan, is also fighting. He's a GPO-3 Dendrobium. We'll get back to him in episode 3. And they are going back to town to talk to their master, Liu Zhi, who is a GM Cannon. And he's off. He's being conscripted to go fight. And he's like, I have to go. It's my orders. I'm not going to be a traitor, and my honor compels me anyway. But he's an old man, and he gives Liu Bei a rusted sword when he leaves. He's like, this is the Dragon Emperor sword. It supposedly has the power to rule the land if anyone could figure out how it works. And he's like, use the dragon's eye. And he then rides off, and Liu Bei's like, what the fuck does that mean? And so he climbs the nearest tower, and he looks on the land, and he's like, this is like a dragon's eye view. That's what he meant, right? And considers that he's looking at the entire land and not just his town, and he has to see the true breadth of Mauritia to learn about the people so he can understand what injustice is and use his knowledge of the world to save people. So that's his plan.
Yes.
Ma Yuanyi, who is one of the Yellow Turbans, the Zaku 1, attacks Liu Zhi right outside the village. The two rush to go help their master because they see the fight, little cartoon cloud of smoke from the fight. But he's gravely wounded, cut through the chest. Liu Bei confronts Ma Yuanyi, and in a rage, the sword begins to glow gold in his hand, and all the rust burns off, and it awakens the dragon power of the Dragon Emperor. And he does the big, first Gundam leap attack from the first episode of Gundam, and destroys Ma Yuanyi. Liu Zhi dies in Guan Chunzan's arms and tells Liu Bei, as he's dying, he's like, explore the land, become a true dragon. They bury him in a simple stone grave, and Liu Bei leaves for adventure. Gong Chunzan's like, no, I'm not going, but I hope we meet again someday. And he's off to find the true meaning of justice.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Pretty good first episode. I was surprised that it started this way. Didn't get the every other time I've seen someone do this era of Three Kingdoms, it's always you gotta show Liu Bei selling his straw mats in town, which did not happen this time. I was like, they've missed the iconic thing where he's selling straw mats.
He's just napping in a tree like Frodo Baggins, basically.
Yes. And the Yellow Turban just kind of run through and destroy his shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is amazing. That's delightful goofiness.
Yeah. And now he's going to walk the earth with his sword, looking for justice. Got the Setsuna plot.
It's true. He does have to go find the
got to find a twisted thing at the heart of the world, which is apparently everywhere.
Yeah, so it's like a direct adaptation, basically, so far, in terms of like, I mean, this is kind of before Three Kingdoms starts. Like the Liu Bei stuff is not centered this early on, but the next two episodes definitely get into more like this is the novel as I remember it. But it will just kind of be going through the early plot points, but it doesn't set any of the context as to why any of it's happening.
No,
you don't know why the Yellow Turbans are rebelling. You don't know who is ordering the troops to sacrifice themselves in these battles. No. You don't know. Like who the Gundam was loyal to. He's like loyal to the idea of justice, but the actual plot of Three Kingdoms about restoring the Chinese Empire is completely absent, and it's very strange because it's not like a huge problem, right? Because the show is for children.
No,
and
this it's for children who won't care about that background context if they're watching as kids, and culturally, everyone who's watching it who's older than that knows because it's ubiquitous.
It's ubiquitous, yeah, right. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
But it does leave it in this weird place where, like, it's just more direct than I expected, so the absences stick out. I expected much more of a kid's show. I expected much more of just, like, a comedy riff on the Three Kingdoms, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's mostly just an adventure anime, right?
Yeah, this is just kind of a simple adventure anime. 11-minute episodes, and we're just going to knock them out as we go through the Three Kingdoms era.
With the entire intro, and then the OP, a little OP, and then the ED, and then the little next time on, it's like, man, we're fucking cooking through these. This is like, I feel like they're like 9 minutes long and we're out.
That ED, by the way, is very bad.
Yeah, you heard it probably at the beginning of this episode.
Not a good ED.
We do get a different one halfway through.
Oh, thank Christ, because it's really quite bad. It's really very bad. Yeah. You hear it for the first time at the end of the movie, and I'm like, really? They're really doing this? Okay, this is not a good song.
Yeah, in episode 27, it changes.
Finally, I'll be free of that then. But it will be starting this podcast.
Yep. But yeah, I don't have much. We should probably just cover all the episodes, honestly.
I guess I introduced them all at the start. I thought we'd roll in, but I'll... I guess
there's the notes for next one's very thin because fucking nothing happens. Episode 2.
Yeah, episode 2 called Encounter.
Liu Bei is wandering the earth. He's really hungry. He comes across Zhang Fei, who's a Gundam Zeta, and Guan Yu, who's a Gundam Double Zeta, locked in combat. He's like, "Oh, the drag! I'm gonna stop, leap in." And he grabs a sword, but the sword doesn't react because they're not bad guys. So he just tumbles down the hill and gets in their way. And they go, "Oh, who's this guy? We got to make sure he's all right." So he wakes up in Zhang Fei's village, only to discover that they have no actual beef with each other. They thought each of them were villains. Zhang Fei saw Guan Yu's like golden headband and is like, oh, that's a yellow turban. Because Guan Yu is also like a green guy with yellow markings, just like the Zaku are in this. So he just thought he was one of them, which is a good bit. They all wander the village and become fast friends. Zhang Fei is like protecting all the people from the raids. But the yellow turbans roll into town. They're led by Zhang Lian, who's a Masala, the youngest of the Zhang trio. They rush out to meet him. Guan Yu interrogates him for the location of the other Zhang generals, as like he already got hit by the attack, but he disappears with teleporting magic. Liu Bei has some knowledge about where the Zhang trio might be that he got from his master before his master left, so they set off together to go find the camp. The end.
Yeah, it gets all the gang together, and I'm like, we're not doing the peach card move? But no, they are. This is just not, they haven't got to it yet.
No, it's not yet, yeah. So, episode 3.
Yes, episode 3. It's called For the People.
Zhang Lian returns to his brothers, who mock him for his failure. His brothers are Zhang Bao, who's a Bolanok Saman, and I was like, what the fuck is that? That's Sarah's suit from Zeta. I forgot all about it.
Yeah, Zeta's often our blind spot for suits like that.
And Zhang Jiao, who's in the Palace Athene. I like that they're all in like Neo Xeon suits, right?
Yes.
Though they are, I was talking to you, I was like, why are they all like weirdly effeminate? Why are they queer coded guys? And you were like, that Three Kingdoms does that. Or, sorry, Dynasty Warriors does that too.
Yeah, just a little bit. Like, I mean, I can't tell exactly how much because I'm also pulling on like, there's that famous ludicrous dub for Dynasty Warriors 3 where they're like doing like, I get a load of my magic or whatever. That's these guys. They're always, whenever I've seen them, they've always been depicted as weird, off-kilter just guys. So this is not out of the realm of my understanding, but I'm not like that deep on the cultural representations of the Three Kingdoms Yellow Turbans like Zhang trio. But I was not surprised, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just curious about it's a weird. It's like why are these guys like this? Anyway, they are in a camp, and they're outside the camp is all of the armies of the what is it like Imperial Suppression Force or whatever. I did not write down the name of it, but it was Subjugation Force. Ridiculous name for some cops. And they're led by the two generals Cao Cao and Sun Jian, and they're both under command of Zhi Jun, who sucks for the record. And so we see Cao Cao's army, and it's Cao Cao and Zhao Huyan, who's a Burga Dallas, who are taking. Oh, did I already say what Cao Cao? Yeah, Cao Cao's the Gundam DX, right? They're like, oh, we need. Cao Cao's like, we need to take the initiative. I decree it. And Zhao Dun, which is a Burga Gyros, which is from what's that? F91, yeah, F91, so, yes. Is like, I agree with you. We should go, because everyone's a suck up to Cao Cao. That's just the thing. In Sun Jian's army, Sun Jian is GP01 Zephyrantes. He and his advisor Huang Gai, who's a goof, argue about whether Cao Cao is going to jump the gun or not. And Sun Jian's like, of course he will. He's ambitious. He rivals my eldest son, Sun Si, who's the GP02 Phasalis. We have a Hyakushiki there who's Zhao Yu, who doesn't do anything in these episodes, but will probably come up later. They decide not to wait for Zhi Jun's order to attack. They're also going to take the initiative and try to beat Cao Cao to the punch. Sun Quan is also there, but he's like the coward of the group and without ambition. But Huang Gai is like, he has the qualities of a future leader. Being the coward, doesn't want to do anything.
I really like the bit of giving the Sun family the GPO line of Gundams.
Yes.
Great bit. Because they often come up in these SD shorts, and I'm always like, who gives a fuck about the GPO line? Like, it's just a line of Gundams that I never care about. I know they're like vaguely popular, but I'm generally not anti's too strong. I just don't think about that line. But doing it for the one faction that just has they just have 100 years of being the same guys, unlike everyone else who's killing each other constantly, is a great bit. Excellent.
Yeah. I like the bit where Sun Quan's like, I think we shouldn't attack. I think it would be bad. And the guy going immediately like, this is the true merit of a leader.
True.
Both armies charge. And their general, Zhi Jun, the Zaku cannon, is caught totally unawares in his little camp, just sitting there, like sunning himself. Being the main force of the subjugation force, he's furious that both of his like attack wings left without him. The three brothers are watching from a field on top. That's our main guys. If you don't know, I'm just going to refer to them as the three brothers. I'm talking about them as a unit. They hold back at Liu Bei's urging, and he's like, there's something going on. Only to witness both armies get surprised by they both roll up on the empty camp, coming in opposite sides of the doors, as the enemy's already fled. That force, which is mostly just the three Zhang brothers, attacks Zhi Jun as he's left stranded and pushes through his meager forces, and they're just going to escape. They're running, but they come across the three brothers staying in front of them and like, you shall not pass. Unfortunately, they're like magicians because they're bad guys, because bad guys use magic in Three Kingdoms. They use the Union of Jupitoris magic attack, and they combined into form the big the O, the like with a yellow sky attack. It's like the blue sky shall become the yellow sky, and then it's the O, and it's shooting magic beams at them, and it's sick. Wipes them out in a single attack.
Excellent stuff. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I wondered how they were going to do this fight, considering like I just didn't know how I was going to go for this. And it's just weird. It is a weird way to handle the like I put a climax for the Yellow Turban stuff into a kid show because they just kind of wipe the floor with them. Is kind of how it goes in the beginning of Three Kingdoms. And I love this little flourish with the O. It was great.
Well, I like the using Jupitoris magic to create what's his face? Why can't I think of that guy's name? Shirako's final boss suit. And the O is just a cool suit. But Liu Bei pulls out the Dragon Emperor sword, and he does the thing from theatrical movie. His like all three of them attack, where like the shoulder pauldrons of both Guan Yu and Zhang Fei come off and attach to him, and then he turns all gold and hits with the big unification Dragon Star Slash, which destroys the O. Wins, 11 episodes. The other armies, watching the explosion from afar, seem to recognize that it's the Dragon Emperor sword's attack. So like, oh, interesting. Guan Yu then explains the legend about the three sovereigns that we get from the intro of every episode. Guan Yu's like, I want to swear an oath of brotherhood to you. And Zhang Fei's like, oh, me too. I'm also swearing an oath. And thus they walk into a peach garden and swear an oath to be brothers. And the three brothers are created.
Yeah, it's the guys. I was cheering as we finally got the big peach garden oath. Great episode. I really enjoyed it.
As always, Guan Yu, just like a homie, just like if you need a wingman, Guan Yu's the guy you want, and Zhang Fei is like, I'm also here. Pay attention to me.
Guan Yu is just the coolest guy alive. That's true.
Yes, it's always true.
Very curious how like this show's going to handle like all the Three Kingdoms stuff happening, because is Zhang Fei going to be drinking himself to death and beating his troops in the show for 5-year-olds? Probably not.
To be fair, he mostly drinks himself to death after the show ends, where the show's going to end. But I'm pretty sure the part where Guan Yu goes and works for Cao Cao for a little bit, spoilers, I guess, for Three Kingdoms, is going to be in the show, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're going to openly talk about Three Kingdoms stuff. The more fun way, I think, is to speculate how they're going to handle things.
It's hard to do spoilers for a
historical
foundational legend for a huge part of the world, yes. Yeah.
Well, I think it's just more fun to talk about, I wonder how they'll do this rather than whether they will. But yeah, because I know this only goes up as far as Red Cliffs, which makes sense because it's literally the only way you can have a story like this and not... after Red Cliffs, everyone fails and dies. Like, Liu Bei does not become the Kingdom of China, restoring justice to the land. He runs...
The problem with something that's vaguely historical is it mostly ends with everyone getting old and sucking and then failing.
Yeah, like... when it started, I was like, I wonder how they're going to handle it. Like, he's got a magic sword of justice, but he like steals his cousin's kingdom and then fucking dies and loses. So, wonder how they're going to handle that. And the answer is they stop before any of that stuff happens.
They stop where most of the adaptations stop, where you get a good narrative ending that's satisfying.
And to be fair, Red Cliff is one of the most satisfying climaxes in anything. I understand it. Everyone go watch the movie Red Cliff if you haven't, even if you've not watched like Red Three Kingdom stuff. Strongly recommend the movie Red Cliff, the John Woo film. Fantastic movie.
You want the version that's in 2 parts, both of them very long.
Yes, I'm fairly sure it's like the only way you can really get it now.
Yeah, it's probably hard to get theatrical at this point, but in case you were wondering, you want that one. You want the big long one.
Two parts, 2 movies. But it's one big movie. So I'm very excited to get there at the end of the show. Because I was, before I realized I only went up to Red Cliff, I was very curious how on earth they're going to handle the part where the Three Kingdoms happens to everyone. So sadly, we will not be like Cao Cao haunted by ghosts.
No.
But they're going to have to, like, okay, iconic moments. How are they going to do a kid-friendly version of, like, Cao Cao killing that family?
Oh, yeah, I think you probably just write around that stuff and not have it happen, right?
That one's too big. It's, like, the defining Cao Cao moment. So I feel like they've got to, like, do a twist on it to, like, do a kind of a jokey version of it.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I'm excited for. Just goofy things like that.
I know Zhao Dun gets an eye patch at some point, but how does a robot pluck out and eat his own eyeball?
Yeah. Does it just like the circuits break and he pulls it out that way? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that. I don't really know how Kongming's going to come into this.
It's really funny because I'm like, he doesn't fit what's going on here at all.
I mean, if they're only going out to Red Cliff, he might not show up till halfway through the show.
Yeah, but because the whole point of Kong Ming is that he's Liu Bei's like closer, because Liu Bei can't actually accomplish anything. He needs a guy with tactics. It doesn't work when Liu Bei's got a fucking sword that wins all battles, right?
Yeah, turning Liu Bei into like the guy with the sword is very funny because he's useless in battle. He's he's literally not the battle guy. Like, he does some fighting at the start, but he's a commander and like a leader is generally the quality.
Yeah, Kong Ming's in the cast list. Komei Rigiz. He will show up at some point.
Yeah, I was expecting him to, because he's crucial to the Red Cliff stuff, but he's not that crucial to some of the early setup. He really only starts coming into it when Liu Bei's like, I need to found my own kingdom one of these days.
Yeah.
I need an advisor.
Yeah, I need a magician and tactician.
I need a guy who cheats.
Yeah, I need a guy who understands the music business.
So true. But I would say positive first impression for the show. Goofy, not that deep.
No.
But
even like, if you're like if you've not read Three Kingdoms, I think it's like a perfectly fine way to be introduced to some of the ideas of what Three Kingdoms is about, right? Like, it's not going to be like a replacement. It's not like a full adaptation. But if you want to know, this is kind of what these guys are about and who the factions are, it seems like it's going to be pretty good about that. Like, the whole bit of Cao Cao and I can't think of the other army.
Sun Jian?
Yeah, Sun Jian like rushing into the camp at opposite ends and realizing they both had. That's peak Three Kingdoms.
That's the Three Kingdom stuff that is always delightful.
And both of them being like, I'm going to get the job. I'll have the glory. And then both deciding to go at the exact same time. That's it.
But only because the other one would have gone at the same time.
Yeah. I'll beat that asshole. And that asshole's also running there yelling he's going to beat that asshole. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like struggling to remember exactly the breakdown of what's going to happen in my head, because there's just so much. I assume the bulk of the show is going to be the stuff where I've forgotten a lot of the details, where it's just, okay, the China's broken apart. We're going to have the first arc with the Yellow Turbans and the second arc with Dongzhuo. But then after that, it's just a bunch of warlords attacking each other, I assume, for about 20 episodes.
Well, the next time on promised Diao-chan, so I'm excited about that.
That makes sense, because we're going into the Dongzhuo era, which is the first major arc of the Three Kingdoms, I guess, to use that parlance, because the Yellow Turban stuff is really preliminary. Even the original book doesn't really like say what they're about. They're just like the representation of the failings of the state the state has been so bad that rebels have risen up. Are they correct about everything? We didn't even write down what they believe. Don't even know. Which then leaves the void for all of the heroes who defeated them to have their own visions for the new China. And I'm going to have a good time watching them all clash for the next 15, 20 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah. Do you have anything else, or shall we go on to our second segment? Yeah,
we'll go on. So it's going to be 3 episodes every episode, but they're short, so it's not that much, honestly.
Yeah, we had the movie as a bonus this time, but it'll be 3 each time till the end of the show.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. We should move on to Dragon Ball.
Hell yes. Our first movie in our Dragon Ball movie series that we are doing for our backup show this series is Curse of the Blood Rubies. Dragon Ball Curse of the Blood Rubies, the original series, first movie they made about a couple years into the show's run.
Yeah, this takes place between episodes 43 and 44, and probably aired around the time that those episodes were going on. The manga's like currently in Dragon Ball.
I mean, it doesn't take place between.
Yeah.
No,
I'm just saying, like, that's kind of where it aired. And there's a whole bit where it's like, did this movie inspire Toriyama to make the thing where when you summon the Dragon Balls, the sky grows dark? Because it hadn't actually, the first time they summoned the Dragon Balls, it's night. And then Goku hadn't used the Dragon Balls again during the day and made it night in the manga yet. But it happens in this movie.
I didn't realize that was how that all broke down.
Yeah, like that's how, like, we're so early and like everything's early.
Yeah, I have like a spreadsheet that I'm working on that's just like everything. In release order, that it was originally what I was going to use to like track my progress, but I'm not really doing that anymore. But I can like see exactly where we're at the time. Yeah, we're at chapter 105 and episode 43. Chapter 105 is called The Fifth Man. Okay, I don't know what that is. Never mind. But it's still in the Red Ribbon Saga.
Yeah.
So we're not going that far. I'm shocked at how quickly the anime catches up.
Yeah.
Because it starts out and it's like, it only takes 13 episodes to do the first, like the Pilaf arc.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. And this movie comes in and is an original side story retelling of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it's recondensing the plot of Dragon Ball in terms of who's showing up into new, very small. So all these movies are like an hour because they're normally part of like the Toei Matsuri Festival, which like is in the summer where they show like three. This is in December, not in summer. But there's like a whole festival where they show 3 shorts together. So this aired next to Gegege no Kataru, one of their films, and Kinnikuman, one of their films together. So I'll probably note what they were airing like opposite as we go on.
Yes. It is called The Legend of Shenlong in Japan.
Yep.
Not called Curse of the Blood Rubies. They'll have localized titles. We are watching, however, in Japanese with the subtitles that we have, which are not the greatest, but I think they're good enough. And so this is your first time watching these movies in Japanese. This is my first time watching them at all.
I've seen all of but the last movie we're going to watch before. Last small movie. I guess I have seen like the lead into Super movies.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, but I haven't seen, what is that called? Path to Power or whatever?
Path to Power, yes. The original Dragon Ball movie that they made during GT.
Yeah. Which apparently readapts the Red Ribbon Army arc into a movie.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Weird, yeah. All right.
Yeah. Because not appearing in this, the Red Ribbon Army, even though it's doing Red Ribbon Army stuff, basically.
It's like, what if there was a fake Ribbon Army doing Pilaf? But also, what if it was more Dragon Quest than Dragon Ball? It's a weird thing.
Yes. What Dragon Ball is, like, as a distinct entity, truly just doesn't exist yet, the way I think about Dragon Ball, right?
Yes. So, the story, such as it is Goku is living, as he does at the start, in his little hut with his 4-star ball, and is interrupted by multiple people coming to get the Dragon Balls. Bulma's on the way with her radar like normal, but what is the army called? The Gurumez army.
Yeah, King Gurumez is like this Dragon Quest final boss ass monster who's devouring everything in the kingdom to find the most delicious food, which I was like, man, this is just going to be a through line in all of Dragon Ball. There'll always be a guy looking for delicious food. It just turns into fucking, the Catman later on. Why can't it Beerus later on? I can't even think of his name. And he's got 2 soldiers named Pasta and Bongo, who's tasking to find the Dragon Balls. Because it's unclear whether he wants the Dragon Balls to eat them or wants the Dragon Balls to summon the dragon and get the most delicious food. But both. Whatever. It's a thin movie. And so they go looking, they seem to have a way to find the Dragon Balls also, and thus they both land on Goku's house. Bulma and Goku have basically the same meeting they have in the manga, where Bulma shoots him in the head 3 times and goes, "This little kid won't die."
Bulma does shoot Goku in the head 3 times.
He just gets mad at her.
It's really good.
And they, go back to find the 4-star Dragon Ball already stolen. And go looking for it. They find a monster attacking the little girl who's, only in this. She's part of the people of the land whose blood rubies. Their land's been trashed by the army looking for blood rubies, which are the, just
the
rubies that are extracted
stones.
from the ground. to devour, because the king is devouring all those stones. That's what made him into a monster. And the big monster turns out to challenge Goku to a fight, turns into a giant robot, and then Goku proves that he could beat him in like a single punch, and he sweats and flies away. And hey, guess what? It's Oolong, our favorite.
Yeah.
Transforming Pigman.
We just slowly go through like re-meeting the cast of the first arc of Dragon Ball, but in like slightly different and condensed contexts. Mostly condensed, but they do keep the entire bit about
we'll get there.
Roshi touching
yeah. So Goku chases after Oolong, and they both run afoul of the great thief Yamcha, who's hanging out with Puar, the other transforming little cat. And Goku and Yamcha have a fight, and Yamcha sucks. Obviously, that's just Yamcha's thing. Bulma arrives, and Yamcha's like, oh, she's so beautiful. And she's like, oh, he's so hunky. But Yamcha's whole thing is that he literally paralyzes when he sees beautiful women, and he crashes out of the battle. And they decide they're going to go help people because Pansy tells them about the blood rubies, and they're like, oh, we could go recruit Master Roshi, the turtle hermit, to get the stop to the army. So they go there to Master Roshi's island, and Master Roshi's already been informed about them by Yamcha, who got there before them and told them Goku was coming to kill him, to take his power. Turns out that's not true. There's a whole bit where Roshi will help them if he gets to he wants to poke Bulma's boobs, and Bulma gets Oolong to transform into her, and he pokes the boobs. She goes full on like, you want to rub your face in them, whatever, flashes him. Famous Dragon Ball things. It's really weird to me because, like, as someone who mostly I love Super, one of my favorite shows. I'm like, oh right, all the weird pervert shit that kind of falls out of Dragon Ball at some point.
It's kind of what early Dragon Balls like. They love to. There is not a single plot point that they can't stop for an entire chapter of Roshi being a pervert.
Which like he never stops being a pervert, but like Toriyama stops. He
finding it that funny
at some point. Yeah. He just like is like, oh right, women, what are those? And they stop showing up at Dragon Ball, so it's not about a cute girl like being an important part of the plot. It's mostly just about weirdos fighting, and none of this matters anymore, right? At some point. But
one of my favorite Dragon Ball little details is in the back matter of the volumes of manga. Toriyama has a little like responding to audience questions bit, and one of the things he admits is he is surprised at how popular Bulma is because he wrote her to be annoying. He's like, why does everyone like her so much? I was like, my guy. Yeah.
Anyway, the army comes to try to take because Roshi's got a ball, and they end up stealing one of the balls, and Roshi does a Kamehameha, and then Goku learns the Kamehameha, just by watching him, does his own Kamehameha, and Roshi's shocked. And Roshi says he's not going to help. Goku's all the help they need. Turns out that he could not be more correct. Doesn't even know how correct he is.
It's true.
And then they go and storm King Gurumez's palace, and they have a big fight the big monster. Bulma realizes the king swallowed 6 of the Dragon Balls, and she has the last one, and she throws the Dragon Ball into his mouth, and Shenron appears and basically blows up Gurumez by doing so. And everyone's like wondering what the big wish is going to be, and Pansy asks for the land to be restored, and Shenron removes all the blood rubies and restores the land. Gurumez turns back into a normal man, and Pansy's dad gives him an apple and is like, this is the thing you've destroyed, our nature, like, that is pure and good. Yamcha and Bulma date. Goku's like, my grandfather's ball, and goes and flies off to get it. The end.
The end, yeah. Very thin movie.
Yeah.
Which is, I assume, going to be a pattern of these, but because it's so early, like, they don't even have
it's weird because, like, when we get to the Z movies are unique adventures written for a movie format. This is trying to condense a third of Dragon Ball into a movie without like stripping out all the story, but keeping all the like main beats of who joins the group, right?
Yeah, you get introductions to everyone, and I think like some of them are good fun. I really like the Yamcha bits. I love his like ridiculous moon shadowed intro, and then I love him like going completely solid and falling off the cliff.
I like when Yamcha gets shot 15 times in the chest and you think he's dead. But it turns out he has a bunch of blood rubies in his shirt.
That part's great. It's so funny.
because they truly animate it like he is perforated and then like flies into the wall and hits the wall and falls over dead, but then like blood rubies pour out. It's very good. Because I was like, oh, they're gonna have to use the Dragon Balls to wish him back, right? Because there's always the out of you can always just wish. Yeah, just not yet.
They don't know about Dragon Ball yet. They don't know about Dragon Ball yet.
Yeah.
We're like 5 years away from people wishing Yamcha back.
Yeah. We're many years away from realizing death truly doesn't matter. You just take off the fake restriction the story had of, oh, you can only come back once.
Well, it depends what wish they were assigned to.
Yeah, but after Dende Balls, you don't even need that anymore. They just get rid of that.
Yeah. It's the rules lawyering that goes on as Dragon Ball continues is very funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very funny that seeing this early stuff. I enjoyed that Yamcha fucking dies, even though they don't know about Yamcha fucking dying being a Dragon Ball running gag.
Yeah. I'm a suck-ass man. I have no time for Yamcha.
I think Yamcha's funny. He's fine. Well, I don't know why you hate Yamcha so much.
I just do.
He's a homie. He's never done anything wrong. I mean,
that's not true. He's definitely done things wrong.
He's kind of lame at the start, and he's like a villain, but all of Goku's friends start out as villain. You can't hold that part against
He's
Yamcha.
not a cool villain. He's just like a weird rogue thief, but his whole gimmick is that when he sees a lady, he like turns red and rigid, right? Like, it's just not interesting to me.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that, but then afterwards, he spends years just being a solid guy. He helps out. He dies multiple times.
Solid, quote unquote, solid. The guy who dies first every time.
Fuck you. He dies first. He was there. He was there day one.
Oh yeah, Yamcha was there. That's the one thing you could definitely say about him. Yamcha was there.
There are some
Nothing
guys who are not always
him.
there. I can say that very much.
Sure, but like Yajirobe comes in clutch in like maybe the greatest heroic moment ever. Yamcha never gets a Yajirobe moment. Right?
I was not saying that Yamcha was Yajirobe tier. Did not put that words in my mouth.
I was saying, watching this movie, I'm like, man, where's Krillin? I miss fucking Krillin. Not in this movie. So not appearing in this film is Krillin.
Yeah, because he's not in the first arc of Dragon Ball. Even though they do like some of the Kamehameha
Krillin,
stuff.
truly like the fucking wingman of all time. I love Krillin more than I love many people in my life.
Yeah, I'm like, where the fuck is Krillin? Bring Krillin in.
We'll get many weeks of Krillin being cool. Don't worry about it.
It's just early in the because I guess we didn't say this at the start, but I have read the Dragon Ball manga.
Yeah, I've read Dragon Ball. I've watched Z. I watched all these movies before, like I said. But you just read Dragon Ball and the Z parts, right?
Yes, I've watched the Dragon Ball movie, the Dragon Ball manga, the Dragon Ball anime up to this movie. I have not got up to the next one. Like I'd watched this one before, and I was originally doing a watch through, but then I was like, what if I brought it to the podcast and we can just watch Goku for 15 weeks? And you were like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Fucking absolutely. It's just funny because like what Dragon Ball is to me is like, as someone who watched it when it was airing in America in the 90s, is a lot of the Z. Like I've read Dragon Ball, I like Dragon Ball, but like it's Z, it's super kind of overrode what I care about Dragon Ball. I love Super. It's maybe one of my favorite anime. It's up there really high. Mm-hmm. I know that's not like a popular opinion these days, but I don't care. Fuck everybody. Super's great.
It's a beloved, there are different kinds of Dragon Ball nerds that like different things, and some of them consider Super a portrayal, but I would not say that loving Super is
I just feel like anytime Super comes up like on the internet, I see way more haters than people who love it, but I don't get it.
But it was selling out episode 131.
Yes.
If you were in South America.
Yeah, I know. Those, man, if ever I feel bad, I just watch those. You don't even know what's in those, but it's good.
I have some idea. People have talked too much about Jiren and stuff, and I got some ideas. But yes, that is my reward for once we finish with this season. Is I'm basically immediately going to go watch Super. We'll not be covering.
So don't spoil shit about future Dragon, like past Z.
Yes, please do not mention anything about Dragon Ball after Z. I will be going along, filling in as I go. And once after, because I have there are things that we're not covering. Like I have to watch Yo Sangoku and his friends return.
Yeah, we'll do that right before Battle of Gods.
Yeah, just like a couple things I'm filling in along the way.
You should probably watch the Bardock special in a couple weeks.
Yes, I have. Don't worry, I've got that spreadsheet. I've got everything noted down, which I will. Yeah. So there will be things between the movies that I will peek in on. So we'll see how that all ends up going.
But yeah, I also just forgot Bulma's a freak. Teen Bulma's a fucking freak.
She's so good!
There's a whole bit where they're on Roshi's island and Yamcha's trying to convince Roshi that Goku's a villain. You have to fight him, have to kill him immediately. And Bulma just like gets up towards it, like it just like sneaks up to him, is like, oh, a hot man, and like rubs her face against him, which causes him to fucking run away. And she's just a fucking gremlin. She just wants to jump this man so bad.
She's great. There are some incredible Bulma faces all throughout this movie.
Yes.
Both when she's reacted to Yamcha and when she's just like annoyed with Oolong, usually the two versions she gets.
Yeah. I just because I'm so I think of Bulma as like, you know, Capsule Corp inventor Bulma. It doesn't exist yet. I'm like, man, she just mellows out in her old age to the extreme.
I mean, she has the Capsule Corp stuff here. Yeah, she's using it.
But they don't really talk about the part where she's like, you know, the daughter of the guy who runs it, most powerful corporation on Earth. We haven't gotten to, you know, middle-aged mom Bulma who just runs everything.
Yeah. Man, that's so good. I love Bulma.
Yeah. But I forgot she used to be a freak. Her and Goku used to, like, Goku's the innocent and she's the freak. That's the
dynamic. Yeah. the amount that Goku's just like innocent is ridiculous early on, because everyone obviously makes fun of Goku being like kind of dumb throughout. But it's just cartoonish at the start.
Well, just weird. So, like, he hasn't seen the ocean. There's a bit where they haven't seen the ocean. They don't have the Uzaru in this, so they haven't gotten to the part where Goku's never seen the moon before, and it's just never like because his grandfather made sure he never saw the moon, except the one time he did, I guess. But you know, he doesn't know what nighttime is.
Yeah,
he's never met a woman before. He didn't know what the ocean was. Like, Goku's truly living in like a state of nature that no one can comprehend.
It's really funny. Taking out the moons, like, you know, the part where Goku can go crazy when you know, at night.
I assume that's in next episode. Or next movie, would be my guess.
Well, yeah, but it just doesn't come up in this movie. Because I assume the next movie is not a sequel to this movie. I assume it's another...
No. It's another weird adventure. Yeah.
I imagine next time 20 when they start setting them like, this is a fake movie set in between, like a non-canon thing set at the status quo of the time of the anime, rather than this is an alternate thing that's meant to introduce you to Dragon Ball, will be my guess.
No. All three of these movies do, like, we are going to do our own version of what if Dragon Ball is just 3 movies and not a television show.
Okay, well, whatever. So the next movie, the sequel to this movie?
In that, like, it's, in that, like, oh, he's going to Kame House and he meets Krillin, and Krillin's also going to train with him.
Okay, so all three of these are just a weird alternate thing. I guess it's not till Z.
And then I know that the third movie has, what's his face? The guy who throws the fucking, the pole. Tao.
Tao Pai Pai?
Yeah.
I love him.
Tao Pai Pai is in the third movie. Yeah, he's fucking sick. What
he's
a cool guy.
where I was at in the manga, in the anime when I stopped watching.
Okay. That's all I remember. I watched these many years ago.
I remember him throwing the big pole and being like, I can't come back to General Red right now because I've got to get my suit tailored.
Man, what a cool dude.
And stuff like that, because Dragon Ball is good.
Yeah. This movie's great. There's not like a ton of like big standout stuff in terms of like fights and everything, because Dragon Ball is just kind of a little different it's more of an adventure thing than it is like a fight show yet.
Yes.
Tournaments haven't even begun in Dragon Ball.
The tournaments have begun in both the manga and the anime by the time of this movie.
Okay.
I believe so.
Okay. I don't remember when the first Budokai Tenkaichi is. It's
before the Red Ribbon arc. So like the first tournament is like 20 episodes into Dragon Ball. It's like 18 episodes in, because you get 13 and then we're at the Pilaf arc is done. Then there's some faffing around. Then there's training with Krillin. Then we're immediately into the tournament. The tournament starts early in Dragon Ball.
Okay. And then, you get Pasta and Bongo who are doing Red Ribbon Army stuff. Pasta herself is basically Fujiko Mine coded in the extreme. But, like, the Castle of Cagliostro Fujiko Mine, who's just, like, she just has Ghibli coding to me in terms of her design, but she's definitely firing guns and bazookas at all times. Also doing a bit of a lunch thing. Has the same voice actress as Lunch. I'm not doing voice actors for Dragon Ball, but does have the same voice actor.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I love the big plane chase fight and everyone blowing up and falling down, and that's a great bit. Great action scene. Just a fun movie. Sometimes you watch a movie, it's 50 minutes long, nothing really happens, but there's characters you like, they hang out, and then some kind of resolution of the vaguely just towards the motion happens. Doesn't have to be that deep. You just see the thing on the screen. It's fine. Movies.
Yeah. Here's my question. This is just a broad question about Dragon Ball. Was there a point in his life where Master Roshi could ride Kinta-un?
No. Well, I mean, like when
so
he was
he just
a baby.
summoned it. He just summoned it like for a fucking point and has never actually been able to ride it.
I mean, I assume when he was like a baby, he could have ridden it.
Because he makes it sound like he used to be able to ride it. Because otherwise, why would he even bring it out?
I hadn't thought the logic of this joke through.
Yeah, no. I'm always curious about like why even call it if you know you can't ride it.
But I don't think he was like. I don't think he's only just become a pervert in the last 5 years.
No. It's just weird. It's like, was there a period of his life where he could just ride it and he lost it at some point?
I don't know. You're asking questions that I've never considered about Dragon Ball before.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we'll never know. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll never know. It's just always funny every time I'm like, why you? Because he brings out, it's like, oh, only the pure of heart can do it, and then he immediately falls through it. Then Goku lands it. Obviously, a classic. But I'm like, why even bring it out if you know you can't use it? If you're doing it as like an object lessonist, like you're not good enough to train with me, why would you show that you can't stand on it?
It's funny, but I hadn't considered that. Yes, he is the one that brings it out. I just ran the logic of this gag, which is just a gag, back far enough to like, what did this say about Master Roshi's character?
Yeah, I just want to know if you think there was once upon a time where Master Roshi could stand on the cloud.
Maybe he could then. I guess that's the only way we can interpret this. I would assume not, but I guess maybe he could. Back when he was...
we know the entire Son family can get on the cloud. Maybe not Chi-Chi. I guess I don't know about Chi-Chi, but like...
I'm going to say probably not Chi-Chi.
Goten, they can get on the fucking cloud.
Probably not Chi-Chi. I'm going to make a guess about that. I don't think Chi-Chi's allowed the cloud.
Can Vegeta get on the cloud?
Has this not been answered?
Remember, there's a whole bit where I thought I thought you had to be pure of heart to be a Super Saiyan, and he's like, yeah, I am pure of heart, pure evil.
He does do that. That does happen in the manga Dragon Ball. Well, I guess if we run into that later on, we'll find out. No one explain, No.
I just these are the thoughts watching this movie. I'm like, who can get on the cloud? I want everyone to test it. I need to know who can get on the cloud.
It's the fucking Thor's hammer of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, but way more people can get on the cloud.
But like we know Krillin can't get on the cloud.
I guess we probably
Krillin, because when the cloud's there in the early Dragon Ball, Krillin is like fucking Gremlin Krillin.
Yeah, it's really weird that Krillin starts out... We'll talk about this more next week. It's really weird that Krillin starts out as a pervert guy like Master Roshi, and that totally just... It gets vaporized out of his character.
By the time of, like, Super, can Krillin get on the cloud? We need to have a retest of Krillin on the cloud.
Yes, I believe that... Yes, I think that by the time he hooks up with Android 18, Krillin can get on the cloud. I fully believe this.
Is it the part where he gets the remote back that gets him on the cloud? Is that the moment where he's on the cloud?
Maybe.
Is that the moral judgment? These are the questions I'm asking in the logic of Dragon Ball's universe.
I think it's it's a filler episode, so you probably haven't seen it yet. I think it's the episode where he's tasked with telling Chi-Chi that Goku's dead after the Raditz Piccolo thing. And he has to be the guy who mans up and tells Chi-Chi that her husband's dead and he's not coming back because he's training in hell. That makes Krillin pure of heart.
I have to watch that episode. I have a filler list, which I might check in on as I go. Because that's too good to not.
Because everyone makes him do it. He's like, they're like, who's going to tell Chi-Chi? And Krillin pulls the short straw.
Because Krillin's the fucking guy. This is why you don't respect Yamcha. He didn't do it.
Yeah, he didn't do it. Fuck Yamcha.
I don't understand. Yamcha is totally fine. I have, he's always losing, but he's trying anyway. He's an inspiring guy. Yamcha.
That's how I feel about Krillin. But Krillin's good and like nice and fun.
There are spots for many. I'm not saying Yamcha's better than Krillin. I would never say Yamcha's better than Krillin. Krillin's obviously the guy, but I can't be anti Yamcha. He's fine. He's one of the homies.
No, when we are looking at all of the Earthlings in Dragon Ball, Yamcha's the fucking bottom of the list.
But all of everyone on Earth?
Who's the named character that I care about? Yeah.
You're gonna put him below what's his name? The guy I don't even remember. The other two. The guys that hang around that I don't even know who they are.
What? Who are you talking about?
What is the name of the other guy on the team?
You talking about Tien?
Yeah, Tenshinhan.
Oh my god. people are going to be mad at you for saying Yamcha's better than Tien.
Yamcha's better than Tien.
No, what are you out of your mind?
These are I mean, I've read Dragon Ball once. Tenshin Han was like a guy at a tournament, and then he just kept training with everyone. I don't remember him having the same pathos as Yamcha, who, like, he doesn't suck enough. Yamcha sucks. That's why he's good.
The reason Tien is good is because he's like the one serious guy in Dragon Ball, and he never stops being the kind of serious guy. And every time he shows up, it's like, you're in just the wrong world to exist in, Tien. You're just like a serious martial arts man, and everyone's a clown around you, and you just have to live with that fact, because they're all better than you, except for probably Yamcha.
Yamcha might be better than Tien. I don't know.
In terms of fighting ability, Tien is absolutely better than Yamcha.
That's probably true. Tenshin Han's still human, right?
Yeah, he just has a third eye. I'm pretty sure that's just the case.
Because I don't remember the exact way all that breaks down.
Yeah, I think he's just a guy, but he has a magical third eye.
Yeah. Well, that's the Dragon Ball check-in. Look forward to next week for more riffing on Dragon Ball stuff as we progress
so
forward.
Next week we are going to be watching Dragon Ball Sleeping Princess in Devil's Castle.
Pretty excited for that.
Yeah. I remember thinking this movie was really good, so we'll see.
Yeah. But that's the episode.
I think that's it. So thanks for listening. If this is your first time, episodes come out every Wednesday. They're Patreon. We're a Patreon supported show. If you would like to get the next episodes and get the whole backlog of all 300 plus episodes, you can go to patreon.com/abnormalmapping and subscribe for $1 a month. That'll get you the Great Gundam Project. For $5 and $10, you get bonus podcasts. $5 gets you Blockbusters, where we watch Hollywood movies of note and talk about their writing and their place in culture. We recently did Pirates of Silicon Valley. We're about to do Steel Magnolias. For $10 a month, you get VoIP Life, which is just doing a free-form podcast every 2 weeks. We actually have one coming up on Friday that's about Letterboxd and Goodreads, and we read a Metacritic list of video games. It's good. We just kind of have a chat. It's nice.
That's a goofy episode.
Yeah. But yeah, you can check out all of our free podcasts at abnormalmapping.com, where we have a bunch of them. Come out all the time. If you'd like to follow this podcast on Twitter, it's @TimeToGoAxis. There's sometimes a shit post. It's usually just
it used to be more shit posts when Twitter was a thing that people use.
Yeah.
Now we kind of plug the episodes, but
when Gundam was funnier, the older funnier Gundams.
Before Seed.
Like Wing.
Before Seed.
Yeah, like Wing before Seed. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, you can do that EM_being. If you'd like to follow Jackson on Twitter, you can do that @HeadFallsOff.
That's true.
And I think that's all the plugs.
Yeah. So we'll be back next time with 3 of the Three Kingdoms episodes and that Dragon Ball movie. I'm very excited. I'm locked in for this season. I feel like it's going to be a more casual podcast, but I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask questions like, when could Roshi get on the cloud?
It's just going to be drilling into goofy Dragon Ball stuff for basically 45 minutes every week.
Yeah, that's all I wanted.
Which is exactly the intent. And we're going to heal after so many weeks of discussing the themes of Gundam, which is something that does not matter to anyone. Not like whether Roshi can get on the cloud.
When could Roshi get on the cloud? Young Roshi could get on the cloud.
Can Roshi get on the cloud in Daima when he's a baby? We'll see.
No, because he's still got the mind. I assume in Daima everyone still has the awareness they have as adults.
We'll find out. They have not said when it's airing yet, so I'm hoping it won't air till after we've, there was a period where I thought it was going to air in September, but I feel like we would know by now if that was the case. And I assume with them Toriyama dying, this schedule got a little fuzzy.
I bet it's early next year,
which would be great for me because then I can't be ready there week 1. We're not going to quite be finished by the time that Sparking Zero comes out, which is fine. I probably wouldn't be playing that game.
I was never going to care about Sparking Zero anyway. So
it's more that everyone will be posting about Dragon Ball stuff.
Oh yeah, and
it'll be hard to avoid. But I will hopefully be actually caught up by the time that Daima airs, unless it's airing in 3 months. But I think I may have missed the window of them announcing that if it was going to happen. So knock on wood, I'll be there day 1.
Okay.
For what we didn't expect to be, but I guess is now the grand finale of Toriyama Dragon Ball.
Yeah, Dragon Ball will continue. Hopefully, they better.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next time if you choose to come along this journey. Goodbye. Amaro.
Amaro!